Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about superhero stuff. If you guys are into these types of videos, let me know by dropping a like down below and I'll make more. In today's video, I wanted to talk about Marvel's Phase 4 projects, my thoughts about them, what they're going to be, and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to only be doing strictly Marvel stuff, so I'm not doing Morbius or the new Spider-Man movie. If you guys want more superhero videos, I will definitely do a Spider-Man 3 theory video. I have a lot of friends who would love to talk about it and we could maybe do like a live chat or something. But without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So the first movie, and I know we all know that this movie got delayed and a lot of people were pretty mad about it, but I honestly don't really care for this movie. It's the Black Widow movie. It was supposed to come out in like May or March of 2020, and as of now it's set to release on May 7th, 2021. This movie is basically just kind of going over the origin story of Black Widow. I really thought they should have done it before Avengers Endgame so it had more relevance, because at this point I don't really care because she's already dead. I don't really see the need for this movie. I strongly believe that Black Widow should have been the first female lead superhero movie, and maybe we could have had a Black Widow movie before Captain Marvel. But at the same time, I feel like they wanted to introduce Captain Marvel before the end of the Infinity Saga. Those are just little nitpicky things that I complain about. Next up on the list is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This movie is set to release July 9th, 2021. So I think a lot of people don't realize, but this is literally going to be a kung fu movie. I feel like it's going to have those basic elements of like a karate movie, and I'm pretty excited to see what Marvel does because whenever they kind of explore new genres or categories, they always seem to do pretty well. For example, Iron Man 3 was kind of like a noir, I don't know how to pronounce that word, but noir film. And then when they did Captain America Winter Soldier, it was more of a thriller than all the other movies. And Captain America Winter Soldier is one of my favorite movies in the entire MCU. I'm really excited to see what they do here because these are characters that have never been introduced before, and in my opinion they should kind of make this movie like they're not really part of the MCU, they're just doing their own thing. And I feel like we forgot how good these solo movies are, especially after the last couple movies where we've seen a lot of things happening in a movie, especially like Far From Home specifically. That really didn't even feel like a solo movie to me because there were so many people and characters trying to fight the final like villain. And I feel like on the other hand, if you look at other like solo movies like Doctor Strange or Captain Marvel, it was literally just them fighting the villain. And so I feel like a lot of us have forgotten that Marvel makes pretty good solo movies when they put their mind to it, and also this character's never been introduced before. So I feel like if this movie, if they plan it out right and if the writing's really good and the characters hold up on their own, it could be like the next Doctor Strange movie, and I love Doctor Strange. Also, if I'm not mistaken, some actor actually signed on to play the Mandarin. Apparently it's not like the same Mandarin like the fake one from Iron Man 3. I feel like that's pretty cool because they're kind of like doing a callback to a previous movie, and I think he's going to be like an actual main villain. I think the Mandarin is the main villain, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me. But I don't have much else to say about Shang-Chi, so let's move on to the next one. The next movie on Marvel's slate is Eternals. This movie is set to release November 5th, 2021. I'm glad this movie is coming out right now and it's not coming out a lot later. I mean, I'd obviously want like Fantastic Four or X-Men to be introduced before the Eternals, but also at the same time, Eternals does kind of open up a new like cosmic gate, I guess you could call it, because if you think about it, Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel are the only movies where we've really gone outside of like Earth. And you could say that we went outside of Earth on Doctor Strange, but it was like only for like a small part of the movie. And also in the Thor movies, it was only like Thor Ragnarok and then a little bit of the first one, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really remember the first two Thor movies that well. But I'm super excited that we actually get to see more people like outside of Earth. And I feel like it's going to be a great way to actually like kind of perfect what Guardians of the Galaxy was. Also, I hope that they don't try to exactly copy Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, I have full faith in Marvel. I'm not trying to doubt them for a minute or a second, but like, I really hope they don't just kind of like reframe what Guardians of the Galaxy was, because that's basically what the Eternals is, except they're just a lot more serious. They're like Guardians of the Galaxy, but if it was like more powerful and like the Avengers. I'm going to go over a little summary. I'm going to read off of the internet right here just so you guys know, because I don't know much about this movie, and then I'll give you my thoughts. The comics for the Eternals talk about a race being created from proto-humans by godlike aliens known as Celestials, and it's been said that romance will be at the center of this intergalactic story. According to Cinema Blend, Kit Harington is going to be in this movie as well as Angelina Jolie. I know Angelina Jolie was going to be in this movie, but I didn't know they were already going to introduce Black Knight. I thought they were going to give Black Knight his own Disney Plus show, like a more mature show, kind of like what I wish they were going to do with Blade. I don't know what they're doing with Blade, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, this movie sounds super interesting, but again, it just sounds like a reframe or like a redo of Guardians of the Galaxy. So next up on the slate is the Spider-Man Far From Home sequel, which is Spider-Man 3. I'm not really going to go deep into this movie. The Spider-Man Far From Home sequel is set to release December 17th, 2021, because there's a lot more to be said and I don't want to be limited to just this video, so I might make a video pretty soon about it. So the next movie I want to talk about is Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Now this movie is set to release March 25th, 2022. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch, and we also got confirmation that Elizabeth Olsen is going to be in the movie. And I'm super excited for this movie because there hasn't really been a confirmed antagonist, and a lot of people actually think that Scarlet Witch is going to be the villain in this movie. Also, if I'm not mistaken, Sam Raimi has either already signed on or he's like heavily rumored as being the director for this film. I don't know if I mentioned before, but Thor Love and Thunder and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness are my two most hyped films for Marvel's near future. And Thor Love and Thunder is the next one on the list. Thor Love and Thunder does come out May 6th, 2022. I'm super excited because Multiverse of Madness and Thor Love and Thunder come out within 2 months of each other. Marvel usually doesn't go past 3 movies for their heroes. Great examples for that are literally Iron Man and Captain America. But if I'm not mistaken, Chris Hemsworth actually said that he didn't like the first 2 Thor films, and he wasn't planning on coming back after Thor Ragnarok to make more movies. But he loved Thor Ragnarok so much, and he loved playing the character, and basically they like revamped the whole Thor character and like the Thor franchise itself. And apparently he loved it so much that he wanted to stay in the MCU. That says a lot about the director, Taika Waititi. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I feel like that says a lot for the team around him. And I'm not most hyped for this movie just because of Natalie Portman, but it's because of Christian Bale. And in this movie, Christian Bale plays Gore the God Butcher, and I'm super excited to see what he does for the role. Again, I'm super excited for this movie. This might be honestly my most hyped movie for Marvel's future. Next up, I want to talk about Black Panther 2. This movie is set to release July 8th, 2022. As we all know, Chadwick Boseman sadly passed away a few months ago, and this really leaves the future for the Black Panther character and the movie basically undecided for us. Ryan Coogler already re-signed on to make the second movie, and all of the cast has basically been confirmed to return. I think the biggest fan theory right now is that the mantle is going to be passed down to Shuri, and I do see that happening. I don't really know how Marvel is going to go about moving the Black Panther status to another person, but I'm really excited to see what they do because I feel like this is really going to test their creativity as a company as a whole, because they had to figure out an ethical way, yet a way that actually makes sense. Next up on my list is Captain Marvel 2. This is probably one of my least hyped films for this future of Marvel. And that reason for me is because Captain Marvel 2 was probably the biggest disappointment I've ever seen in a Marvel movie, especially one that was super hyped up. Now, obviously, I was still super young when the 2 original Thor movies came out, so I wasn't necessarily like super hyped for those movies. I just went because I saw them in the theater. As I said, where Captain Marvel 1 was a huge disappointment for me. One reason for that is because Captain Marvel is just too OP. Obviously, that's not her fault. And I'm not trying to hate on Brie Larson because I love her as an actress, but overall, Captain Marvel just doesn't fit in a real life universe because she's just too powerful. Her character should not work when fighting other heroes or fighting other villains because she would demolish them. And that's just speaking from a logistical standpoint. Not sure if I mentioned this already, but the movie is planned to release on November 11th, 2022. But this date is so far that honestly anything could change. Also, there's a Miss Marvel series coming to Disney, and the girl who's playing Miss Marvel is gonna have a pretty large role in Captain Marvel 2. So Captain Marvel 2 kind of might be a teaching movie. Now, I don't know if that's the best idea because we honestly haven't seen enough of Carol in the first place, but I think it'd be a cool idea. I don't know if they could execute it properly though. It's just a lot to happen because also we have to develop Captain Marvel's character a lot more than it already is. And then on top of that, she's going to be probably teaching Miss Marvel her skills and all that kind of stuff. So there's just a lot that's going to have to happen in that movie, and I really hope they can fit it in properly. Now I want to go over the unscheduled projects. These projects basically have like a year that they're gonna come out, but it's just not official like the exact date. First one is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Honestly, the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, getting the road to being where it is right now, where it's like actually confirmed that it's gonna happen, has been a long road. Now this next movie I don't want to go too much into, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Now this movie, the only really big part of it is that King the Conqueror has been confirmed to be introduced. I feel like this is super big for the MCU because I genuinely thought that King the Conqueror would be the next big bad, kind of like the next Thanos in the MCU, but I guess that's not the case. I low-key think they are wasting him with this smaller movie. Also, King the Conqueror could just have a cameo in the movie and there could be another villain that they're not telling us about. That's always a possibility. Now, I know that I said Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and Thor Love and Thunder were my most hyped films, but those are my most hyped films that have already been announced for an actual release date within like the next year and a half. This movie right here, and you guys already know what I'm talking about probably, but it's Fantastic Four. Now, there's no details about this movie. We only know the director, John Watts. He directed the MCU Spider-Man, and honestly, I'm pretty pissed off that he's gonna be directing the movies. I don't like him as a director. The only thing I want out of this movie, it can be horrendous, it can be bad, the scripting can be garbage, the VFX can be garbage. I mean, I know Disney CGI and VFX are always awesome, but I don't care. I just want John Krasinski in this movie. That's all I want. John Krasinski. If you're watching this video, I know you're not watching, but if you're watching, if somehow you watch this video, please just sign that deal. And another plus to that would be Emily Blunt being Mrs. Fantastic. I also low-key want Michael B. Jordan to play the Flaming Dude, but then again, he's already playing Killmonger, so I don't see that happening. Also, I want John Cena as the Thing, but again, I don't see John Cena really coming into the MCU because he's gonna play a partially big role in the Suicide Squad movie in the DCEU, and he also has his own HBO Max show coming out. My dream casting for the movie is basically ruined, but John Krasinski, please, please, please sign. And finally, the last thing on the list is Blade. They announced at Comic-Con about a year or two ago that Mahershala Ali is going to be playing Blade. Blade is a vampire hunter, and my only hopes for this movie is that it is rated R and it's hopefully pretty gory, because that's literally what a vampire hunter is supposed to be. I also wanted to mention, I did talk about Moon Knight before. I do want his show to actually be a little more mature as well. If they're doing it on Disney Plus, they obviously can't go nearly as far as they would in movies. I genuinely hope that both Moon Knight and Blade get gory shows in movies. I feel like Venom kind of proved that, because if Venom was rated R, the movie would have been 10 times better. And that's basically all I have to say in this video. I mean, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to drop a like ring down below. If you guys want to see more superhero related content, Marvel, DCEU, all that kind of stuff, let me know in the comments down below. Share with your friends if you did enjoy this video, and if you think they'll enjoy it. 2021 is going to be a blast for movies as well as TV shows. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.